So there are some new kind of initiatives in racing to get more young people involved. And to tell a positive story of racing. There's a story in the Blood Horse today about a new initiative called Light Up Racing. And it's a new industry group that I'm quoting from the story here that stepped forward to try to shape racing's message and ensure that misinformation is countered through education and factual information. Involved with this are Price Bell of Millridge Farm, Bloodstock agent Roderick Walkman, Bloodstock agent Jason Litt, and vet Dr. Jeff Burke. I'm not familiar with those guys too much. Maybe you are a little bit more than me, John. But this is in the vein of Vicky Leonard and what she has tried to do with Kick Up for Racing in Australia, because there was a lot of criticism of racing in Australia, where racing is much more healthy, relatively speaking, than America, but still needed a counter voice to some of the criticism that they were getting. And John actually had a great conversation with Vicky Leonard for one of our Breakaway Rail Talks that you should go back and watch. But John, first of all, how successful has her initiative been in Australia? And then, how emulable, is that a word? How replicable that's a word for sure. How replicable is it, do you think, for something like Light Up Racing to do that in America?
I think that with every metric, it's been successful in Australia. And the reason being is because they basically, over the past couple of years, have quashed the majority of negativity that's been coming out, from a lot of the industry haters. I don't know, the groups that don't want racing to be around anymore. And the fact that they centralized the message for their industry was imperative in making those strides. And I would love to see that replicated here in the States, and ultimately, be the voice, be the go-to. So when there is a 60 Minutes piece on, they're the ones, Light Up Racing or the American equivalent is where you go to get a quote on it. There's this specter of this, this new expose that's going to be coming out sometime in 2024 that's going to damn the industry again. Well, then we need to have our ducks in a row and have a centralized voice to combat it and discuss it. So that way, the facts are out there. And that's really the most important thing. I was pleased to see some of the names that are on the initial team. I think that they are well represented from not only the breeders, but pinhookers, veterinarians, and owners. So I think they did a good job in picking people that will be able to add value and add a voice to the messages. And I guess time will tell, but I'm cautiously optimistic that that we're going to be able to replicate that here in the States.
Yeah, no doubt. And there needs to be education of the public as much as that can possibly be done. I think the worry is that you don't want a propaganda outfit,
right?
That doesn't even acknowledge racing's issues. But then the flip side of that is you get like you said, the 60 Minutes piece where theoretically you think it's going to be fair-minded and balanced, and it was mostly a hit job on racing, like an uninformed hit job. So it just you just need more people with skin in the game, younger people who have an interest of racing being successful for the long term, armed with information and, like you said, like they were saying in the article, like you're saying, like a repository of places that people can go
Yes.
when they have peer-to-peer conversations with friends, family members, strangers, whoever it is, when they have criticisms or questions about racing, to be like, well, actually, yeah, we're working on our issues. Here's the progress that we've made along the way. And I think that's huge. And in that vein, HISA has established a next generation advisory group that's going to be made up of people in the early to mid stages of their professional careers to provide feedback to HISA, the executive team, the standing committees, about the implementation of HISA's rules and regulations. So that's kind of similar, where it's like, you need some new blood that can see where racing is going if we take this path or that path, and to be able to step in and have some kind of influence, because the old guard, like if they're gone in 15, 20 years, like they don't have that same kind of long-term interest that young people do. And this is an industry that I think has hemorrhaged a lot of young people in recent years who don't necessarily see a path forward for the sport. So I definitely applaud any new initiative like this. So shout out to the people that have started Light Up Racing. We'll see what actually comes to fruition. But I just think, like you're saying, more centralized information and PR, the more of that we get, the better. It's imperative for the industry going forward.
Yeah. And Joe, let me add a serious note on this as well. I'm glad to see that they're putting together younger people that have a passion for the industry and can add value to the industry. The only thing I'm annoyed about, and this is with all sincerity, is that you're not on that board. There's no way in my mind that you have such a good insight in the industry, and we have such a great platform here to discuss it. It just didn't. I don't know if they didn't reach out to you or if they, but I hope that for the powers that be that are watching this, that when there's a new board put together or they need additional voices, Joe Bianca needs to be at top of that list because he covers a lot of different parts of the industry that I think would add value. And you know what? He can actually put a turn of phrase together a little bit occasionally as well.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. My only explanation is it's anti-Italian discrimination. But
discrimination, man.
No, I mean, yeah, I'm a young guy, not too many gray hairs. Like, I got a platform. What else do you need to see, people? But no, thank you, Jon, for saying that. And yeah, there's plenty of smart young people in this industry, aside from myself, who have the talent, the wherewithal, the skills, and the mindset to take this sport into a more prosperous, more promising future.